Episode 5 of Inside the Parlor, I'm Corey Santastevan, coming at you from my garage. Today on Inside the Parlor, I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Mark Jason Solofa, owner and barber of Mark Jason Solofa Men's Grooming, a high-end gentleman's grooming and shave parlor located in Berkeley, California. MJ is an incredible inspiration that has created a men's grooming brand that is world-renowned and truly second to none. From educating and doing platform work for major grooming brands, Mark Jason has been featured on numerous industry interviews and barbering tutorials, consistently voted as a top barbershop in the San Francisco Bay Area, and was even seen on a commercial for the San Jose Sharks. We will get to hear some of Mark Jason's story and early adventures in the hair industry, hear about two people that played a major role in the man he is today, and you'll get hit with a whole bunch of wisdom that you can chew on and implement into your own life. Welcome to Inside the Parlor. MJ, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Corey?
Welcome to Inside the Parlor.
Thank you, man. Good to see you.
Cool,
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, cool, man. Come
All
on
right,
in.
all right.
Cool. Grab your jacket and your hat, and we'll hang that up. Yeah, look inside. Wait, we gotta check. Are we twinning?
Yeah, man. That's some great minds. Isn't that what the... You get great minds, but greater hair.
Well, all your wisdom bestowed down.
Oh, there you go.
See? Sweet, man. You can go to grab a seat.
All right. Nice chair.
Awesome. Yeah.
Set up in here. Beautiful.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a work in process. Kind of pieces coming and coming and going, and yeah, man.
Ever evolving, man. But it's good. It's a great bone. It's got great bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, cool. I mean, I can think back to when we first met. Dude, I was I think it was Paul Mitchell to school, and it's funny because I'm finding all these people that I'm meeting through Paul Mitchell.
Right.
At Fresno, we kind of hooked up with Daniel Moses, and we're doing some educating over at that school.
I think even before that, honestly, it was
Yeah?
a class where Daniel Moses and I and a few others were at the Paul Mitchell School.
And it was huge inside there.
Pleasant Hill.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you were on the tail end of finishing up.
Yeah,
maybe.
I might have still been in cosmetology school.
I think you were finishing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think after that, a little bit down the line was the Fresno thing.
Oh man, that totally made my mind go back and be like, yeah, that's actually where it's at.
Right?
No, that's cool,
Only
man.
because I was looking at some photos from back in the day, and I seen that was the class, and I seen you in there.
Oh yeah.
So, I
No,
remember that.
it's cool, and I just remember seeing you in that one, and then that next one.
Yeah.
Just being really inspired, and just kind of seeing your style and being really like, man, this is what I want. This is the direction that I want to go as far as with my career, from aesthetics wise, and just the way that you carried yourself and presented yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's been cool just kind of just checking your journey and seeing how that whole thing is going through, and we'll definitely chat about that. But
Look forward to it.
let's talk some hair, man. You've been rocking this beard
Or lack thereof here.
but I think as far as I can remember, you had at least the mustache. And
I've had the mustache, and it's in there still. I left it plain because I don't know what you're gonna do today. But,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for the follicle challenge, it happens right here is where it happens, and the beard comes and goes, but typically the mustache usually stays, And I think that's just, as a barber even, to own some sort of style. Right now, everything's classic haircuts and classic this, and I mean, classic is always timeless. So
Right.
The classic has to stay in the attire and the mustache, and this just gives me room to do something different every once in a while.
Today we are giving Mark Jason the hairstyle of another iconic MJ, giving him a Michael Jackson Jerry curl. Maybe not. We're going to bring out the straight razor and give him a clean shave on top. To prep the follicles and soften them up, we'll give him a hot towel, then lather him up with some of the magically formulated shave cream from Crown Shaving Company. Bringing in the clippers, we'll fade the beard at the sideburn area, taper it in on the sides, and bring it up just a bit. Well, looking around and trying to actually find a location of where you wanted to open up your shop, how did that whole process come down?
We use the word blessing a lot, or it's almost serendipitous. When I thought I was ready to sort of step out on my own, I'd worked for a couple places already, and I thought the calling was for me to open up my own place.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on Craigslist like daily. At the time I was living out in an area called Livermore, right? But I couldn't find anything in my neck of the woods that was in my budget, or that had any character, that wasn't in a strip mall of some sort, And it was just, the intention was for me to be a one-chair shop, so there was very few places that were small enough that would accommodate that.
Yeah.
And then one day I just was in a rush to go somewhere, so I mistyped the word barber. I just misspelled it, and I pressed enter, and it was the only thing that came up because the whole ad was spelled wrong. And it was in Berkeley, and it had the address on there, so I looked the address up on Google and looked at the Google images, and it had a lot of character. It was quaint. I loved the curb appeal. It sort of had some old 1960s, 50s type vibe to it.
Yeah.
So I called on it and it was still available, and the rest after that was proverbial history. And I knew nothing about Berkeley at the time. Berkeley, from where I was living, was over, on a busy traffic day, I was an hour and a half. Almost, just one way.
Yeah.
And I had no clientele. I barely had a clientele at the place I was working at previously. So to move to a whole new town, a new city, I knew nobody there. I knew nothing about the city other than it was Berkeley, and that probably there was some hippies back in the day. I don't know if they were still getting haircuts, but
right.
I felt that was where the shop was called to be.
Yeah. That's awesome. So with open at that, because that's hard when you move into a new area and you don't have a clientele.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of sitting there and you're hoping like, man, I hope people see this sign. I hope they come through. And
to speak on that, I was sitting there. By the time I finally did all the improvements and the little build out, and I opened up the doors, in that movie Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner says, "Build it and they will come." So I was like, "Okay, I built it, Lord. I opened up the doors and the windows, and I sat for like 4 days, just sitting in there waiting, and I opened up the door and would look up and down the sidewalk and say, "Man, is there even any foot traffic right now?"
Right, because it's busy out there.
It's busy on the road, but it's not busy on the curb. And then by the fourth or fifth day, a gentleman walked in, and I got all excited, like, "Oh, here we go! Like this is the one client that my hopes and dreams, my American dream is gonna be built around." And I said, "Well, how can I help you, sir? Are you ready for a haircut?" He goes, "Actually, I'm just looking for the mattress store around here." So just that sort of heartbreak. "Oh, you need a haircut?" Like, "No, I don't need a haircut." And to go from that to where I am now, where very fortunate, very blessed to have my own personal calendar is booked about 2 months out at a time.
Nice.
And because of that overflow, I hired my first barber 2 years after, and we did 2 chairs for a year. And fortunate that barber was booked also. His calendar's about 2 weeks out, and because of that overflow now, we were fortunate to find this gentleman to sign on as an apprentice.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. And kind of now, was your mom your first client?
My mom was, exactly, yeah. We had a little, so my mom was visiting at the time, and my family were in town to come pick her up and take her back to American Samoa. So we had a little blessing ceremony. Yeah. We had a pastor come in, and then I had her sit down and gave her first haircut. Something that if my father was alive would have loved to have also given him a shave and haircut, But my mom represented that for me, So the culmination of just a family's journey, their journey, right? As just people of faith and building their own family, their children, and now to see their son try to carry on that legacy of just providing, providing. And when I remember when we first sort of opened up, even as I was putting the decorations together, she was saying how this isn't my shop, right? This isn't your salon. This is God's business. You're just his employee,
Right.
And I was like, well, that's deep, but can I put my name on the business? Can I put my name on the business cards? I don't know how God's barbershop's gonna sound in Berkeley.
Yeah, because they'd be like, well, God, he doesn't need haircuts. No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, how old were you when you lost your father?
I was 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, just like, I can't even imagine. Like, how was that, how did that rock you? 'Cause were you here in the States?
No, I was still living in American Samoa. Okay. We had a family business back there. It was a little insurance agency. Okay. And my father had, for as far as I can remember, was in sales. When he grew up, he had very limited education in Western Samoa, now known as just Samoa. Mm-hmm. I think he barely finished middle school, or he failed middle school, or he didn't finish middle school. And then he worked in the hotel industries as an entertainer. And then he found he met some people that were from New Zealand who were industrialists. Some rich folks, and they befriended him, and they offered him an opportunity to move to New Zealand. Yeah. So he did, with barely spoke English. He lived with them and worked in their steel factory. Mm-hmm. And from there, everything was just perseverance, just trying something new, trying something different. Door-to-door sales was what I remember most about him in New Zealand, just selling anything, and then eventually it got into insurance. To see his perseverance and work ethic over the years, and a man who, because he was in sales, was always dressed impeccably. Even the old photos of when he would live growing up to when we used to have our business. In very humid 90+ degree weather in the islands, he was wearing a suit, a tie, sports coat, and forever ironing his handkerchiefs and polishing his shoes. So
Definitely.
a lot of what I am today is because of him, and my mom, and sort of the footprint that they put out for us to follow. Just be good human beings. Do your best, no matter what you end up doing. Just do your best.
Yeah, for sure.
So to lose him was it was a reminder. It was to this day where this life that we have is not guaranteed. So just enjoy what you have and do the best that you can, and enjoy each day for whatever it brings. So this business of mine, I look at it the same way. I'm very fortunate to have what I have, but it could all be gone tomorrow. So for that reason, I just enjoy my clients that come in that day, and do my best to treat my colleagues as best I can, and put a good word out into the world. And hopefully, if I wake up the next day, I'll do it all again.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember when I first started this journey coming from the mortgage industry. I didn't know anything about hair. I just felt that my calling was to get into barbering. Was something that I can't say as I have a passion for it. You hear a lot of people starting out in the industry like, oh, I've been passionate about it all my life. Well, I didn't know anything about it, so I couldn't be passionate about it.
Totally.
It was something that had a great appeal to me. But when I signed on at Paul Mitchell, originally I thought that it was a barber program.
Yeah.
I was just so excited to start that I didn't do my due diligence to see what was the difference between barbering and cosmetology. I was like, just sign me up at the best school that I think I can go to.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember that first week and just being in this room with all these gals that were just doing amazing things already. The first week, I thought we were all supposed to be starting at a clean slate, And so we had that core class where they, doing like blowouts I think blow dries was the class for the day. And so we'll just go downstairs and shampoo and condition the mannequin head and come back up and then get your blow dryer. So no one told me you're not supposed to just ruffle the hair really.
Where are you supposed to get the hair dried?
I just went down there, man, and I was shampooing my own head, and I came back and it was tangled, and I tried to start blow drying, and I looked around the room and there's just amazing blowouts happening right now, and my brush is stuck in the hair, and it's just dripping wet, and I had this whole deflated spirit about myself. Like this was not where I'm supposed to be, And it was, I think the next class after that was just a theory class, and I just remember clearly hearing the theory instructor saying that your success in this industry is about 70% personality and who you are as a person.
Right.
Everything else, technical, that might be 15%, but just hearing that, I latched on to that part. I'm not gonna be. I knew I'll aspire to be good at what I do, but by personality, by that part, I know I can own that part, and I should be able to connect with somebody. And just use my island background and just be all about, oh man, happiness and aloha and love, and So I even approach it now, just going back to the little. What you said was a nick, but I can't even feel it. It's like, even that, if you are more in this industry, if you are genuine to who you are, that 70%, I think sometimes it's 80 to 90% personality.
Yeah.
Your clients are more forgiving of a bad haircut every once in a while, or a little nick every once in a while, because they really are coming out for you, the person, your personality, the discussions, the talks, the laughs, the jokes, the journey, and they journey with you. You journey with them in their life, right? Like, oh, how are your kids, or how's that? I know you got laid off. Any finding a new job. So many things that we experience with people that sit in our chairs.
Yeah.
That's what they come for. And the haircut, if they leave with a good haircut, man, it's just a byproduct of that fellowship they get to experience with you in the chair. I get asked this a lot from people that say that I motivate them to consider barbering as a career, second career, even for them in their late 30s or going into their 40s, right? Mm-hmm. And I often say that an older barber doing it, starting as a second career, makes a better barber because they are able to connect better with those life type situations, right? Yeah. As a barber myself, that I can connect with my clients, not just from a haircut or shave, but because I can relate to a divorce because I've been through it. I can relate to a layoff because I've been through it. I can relate to being a single parent because I am it, or raising a daughter because I have. Just those are the things that if all you do is cut hair and that's it, on to the next one, like you're not giving that client or that person anything more to come back for. The loyalties to you are less because they say, well, yeah, you cut hair good, but you're not available, so I'll cut hair to that guy.
Yeah.
Right? Or I'll go to this shop, or I'll just bounce around because really all I really need is a cut. Right? And I always feel that there is no. It is a blessing. It is nothing. It's from the man upstairs. It has to be, because there was no reason why people were waiting. You know, I was a one-chair shop for 2 years. Why people would wait 2 months just to get a haircut for me, right? I'm haircut zero. I mean, I'm proficient at what I do, but it had to be more than that, and it's because I kept, to this day, adopt that 70-80% personality thing. Like, I will connect to this person. New client, regular clients are easier because you've already established that relationship, but a new client comes in that door for the first time, I'm going to make a connection, something. I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen for that opening, like a running back's going to look for the hole in the gap, right? And then when he sees it, he's going. Like, that's what I listen for. If I hear something about like the work situation, or the home situation, or parenting situation, or vacation, anything. Once I see that, I'm going and I'm building that relationship. I'm building the haircut, but I'm building the relationship so that he'll come back for the relationship part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just kind of really seeing the value in that. I mean, I'm thinking, I think there's a lot of, especially as guys, we kind of keep things bottled up and we don't really talk about things, and it's like, for them to know, like, no, you're not weak for having this conversation, for having this outlet.
It's interesting that you say that, because you can get some guys that'll come in and they'll be tough as nails, right? Like the nails on this beautiful decor you got here. And a couple visits in, they start softening up to you. They start opening up, and then you just get that one, like, hey man, can I ask you something? And that's when you've bridged that gap. Right. You've bridged the gap from being just a hair cutter, just a barber, just a hairstylist. You bridge that gap to that confidant, right?
Yeah, totally.
And it's known within the industry that we are the therapists, we are the friends, we are the counselors, we are and barbers by trade are the style coaches, the therapists, and you hear things in these chairs that a man would not confess to his own priest, pastor, mom, father, wife, best friend. Because they know that they can come into the barbershop and say what they gotta say and leave. And it stays there, and they will be judged for it because we as men have or will or are going through all those same things. Or someone in the shop that's sitting in the chair next to them will have something to throw at and sort of helping propel them to feeling better about just doing better, right?
Definitely, that's true.
I always say, and I tell my colleagues this, and even as barbers too, I said, you know what? My brand, or my shop, is called Mark Jason Solofa Men's Grooming, which is me, of course, and then Men's Grooming. And so what's men's grooming versus barbershop? Why isn't it just Mark's barbershop? It's because we're grooming men, and we're not grooming men to be better looking men. We're grooming men to be better men, from the inside out. And as a side of that, they'll look better because they got a haircut or a shave. But we're grooming them to make better choices. We're grooming them to be, to contribute better to their communities and society and their families, be better fathers, be better parents.
Absolutely.
Better sons. I had a client who, as an example, was going off to graduate school in New York. And I was telling him, I know his mom was alive, he was the only child, so I said, are you going to go hang out with your mom for a little bit? And he was saying how he didn't necessarily like going back to his small town and seeing his mom, because his mom always treats him like a little kid, right? Like it's almost suffocating. Wants to make his favorite foods. Always asking where he's going, what he's doing, and there's not a lot to do in that town, so he's always at home a lot. And I said, if you put yourself in your mom's shoes, and I'm going to say this as a parent because I can see that for myself. Your mom always sees you, even though you're 20-something going off to graduate school, your mom always sees you as a toddler, right? So engage your mom and allow her this opportunity to treat you like the little toddler that she pictures in your mind. Because when you leave home and you go off to New York for graduate school, your life will change, your time schedule will change. And your best intentions to come home and visit your mom or come back to the Bay Area will get pushed back, because you'll have a new circle of friends and you'll have new challenges, and your new job will start after graduate school. And before you know it, by the time you come back, it'll be what was supposed to be 6 months has turned into 3-4 years.
Absolutely.
And I speak from experience to him because I left Samoa 13 years ago to move here for my daughter's mom and start a new life. And it took 13 years to go back with my daughter last summer. And that I blinked and it was gone. 13 years is gone. So he looked at me, kind of teary, and saying, I didn't think about that. And I put it in that perspective, right? That's what's grooming better men. That's what's men's grooming to me.
Right, absolutely. No, that's so cool to be able to hear that, because I mean, even through the, you can take a look at your Instagram and see there's some haircuts on there, but just exactly what you were saying, that grooming of that character and the character of a man.
Yeah. A lot of people probably think like, is this dude even a barber? And I would say like one haircut every 30 posts. Yeah. And that is my brand, right? My brand is not the haircut. My brand is that 80%. Right. It is trying to motivate us all to try and do better, myself included. Like a lot of that is just my Instagram, while it tries to inspire others, it tries to inspire myself each day that I wake up. Right. So those posts are just as much for me as for everybody else. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of like when I was thinking about when it comes time to write down to do a sermon. Yeah. And it's like you're like, okay, what do the people need to hear, and it ends up being a message strictly tailored for you, where you're just like, oh, cool, this is just all that I'm sharing.
There's a lot of truth to that, because it starts from the heart within. If you're working on your 70-80% personality each time, right, and you're trying to do better each day for that 70-80%, when you go through your own struggles and you're an artist or you're a writer and you write things down because you're blogging or you're like a diary, right? Originally, that's what my Instagram started off with. I was facing some challenges in my life, and I used that because I love to write. I used that as sort of a diary to myself, right? And unbeknownst to myself, like whatever struggles I was going through and writing about, it was never specific. It was just like, this is what I think that I need to do today. Try better, do better, be a better person.
Absolutely.
Somebody out there is responding and reading it because they're going through something, and so it inspires them. It could be totally two different things that we're going through, but it's a message for them to like, you know what, it could be worse, man. And at the end of the day, I'm alive and I'm blessed, and if I've changed my focus on things that I think are negative and put that same attention to the positives in my life, my situation will turn around. It's all a matter of perspective. Like a glass half empty, it's still half full. Right. It's just choosing on how to look at it, and that's what the branding is about. And that's what I'm more known for on the social media page. Right. So, which is funny because the little space that I get to occupy in this world of barbering and in this little world of social media and in the world in general, it wouldn't even be the barbering aspect of it. Even though at the end of the day, it is barbering. To me, that is barbering. Barbering to me, traditional barbering, which I like to focus on the area of traditional barbering industry, is service. Right? Traditional barbering is no TVs. Traditional barbering is the client comes down and sits and, what's going on? Like, what happened since the last time I saw you? Right. Man, what happened last time when you were telling me you got laid off? Man, what happened last time with that girl you said you guys were going through some stuff? Or how's your wife's surgery? How did that go? Or I heard your son was trying out for the team. Like, how did it go? Like, that's barbering. That's just talking. That's just service.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, that's it.
So I'm more like like people look at me like, oh man, Mark's like, he looks at barbering in a totally more philosophical type of way. But at the end of the day, man, that's what it is. If you, all the smoke and mirrors are gone, when Instagram is gone and all that fame is gone, and whatever it may be, like at the end of the day, you gotta have people in the chair, right? Because the neighborhood barber, that's what it is. And if you can use social media to propel oneself to opportunities, right? If it's an opportunity for you to represent a brand, you get paid for it. Man, have at it, man.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
There's an opportunity to reach out to the masses and get new clientele. Man, all more power to you. That's what it should be used for. Use it as a tool to propel yourself with the industry, but to also do better in the industry in some way, like motivate other people to inspire people.
Yeah.
If it's all about buying followers, so the smoke and mirrors looks like you have more people following you, you're going about it in the wrong direction, because your focus shouldn't be buying followers. It should be earning clients.
Yeah. For sure, because especially too, like looking at those likes. You can have as many likes as you want, but is that equating out? Like, what is that equating out to?
Exactly.
There's a lot of times where like I'm trying to word something properly up on Instagram. I'm staring at the screen for like 20-30 minutes, and I'm like, what's the point of even doing this?
But my whole thing with the Instagram thing too is like, if I post something and it reaches one person, I did my job. Right?
Absolutely.
And it's humbling that you don't know. It has such a worldwide reach. That I got a letter in the mail from this lady one time who it just came across one of my posts randomly. Said she was going through some things in her life, And she ended up going through my feed because that one post, it resonated with her, and she went through the rest of the feed, and she said like she just started crying because little things that she read seemed to apply to the stuff that she was going through, and she felt that it was an answered prayer for that sort of message to come to her in her time.
In the time, yeah.
Yeah, and she said this letter is for nothing more than to say thank you. I don't want anything from you. I just want to say, just continue to do what you're doing, because there are people out there, whether you know it or not, that you're reaching. So whether it's 1 like or 500 likes, whatever it may be, whether you have 1 follower or 100,000, just do it with authenticity. Do it from the heart. Have integrity with what you do, and you'll make a difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's I know it's kind of those I haven't seen. Maybe this might have been the only one.
Yeah.
But I saw recently somebody said something negative to you on there on Instagram, bro, and I loved your response back. It was just kind of like, you didn't, whether they're called trolls or whatever you want to call them. You didn't feed into that stuff, and it was just like really positive and encouraging. Like, it was almost like, fire to you right there, bam.
Yeah, it's all in like it goes back to that whole thing about. I don't know, the word hater seems like a strong thing, but it's really just people that if they're if they have that much time to comment something negative online, bullying or whatever it's called now, they're in a worse place than you are in your life, right? Yeah. So really, when the person put the comment, I think it was something to the effect that, your haircut sucked, but good thing for social media, you're good with your words, so you're really blowing up, And I said, well, I've never been one to really say that my haircuts, I try to do the best I can with haircuts, but barbering is more than haircuts, Going back to the same thing you and I are talking about right now, right? And letting that person know that, there's always room for improvement, but my bigger goal is to connect to people with good relationships. Absolutely. And I think they understood that, and whether they did or didn't, our goal for this industry is not to throw logs into the fire, because it's easy to, right?
It's easy, yeah. It's easy to have some of that.
It's easy like, you want to talk about mine? It's rather just say like, here, I acknowledge you, thank you for your feedback, and I'm just going to keep it on, because that comments on social media is not what pays my bills. It's the clients that sit in my chair, and those ones, and even now to this day, after this is going to be my 8th year, right? Which is crazy to think, but even now, every haircut that I do it's still like, here we go, I'm trying to do better than the last time, and I'll still remember the last haircut I did on that same person, like, I don't even like how that came out, I hope I'll do better this time. And at the end of the day, it's really just us trying to make it better for us, but the client, they barely look in my mirror anymore, like I'll hand in the mirror, like, I don't see that anymore, man. But I just look at that, that looks good, and hand it back. So now it's no longer about that haircut. It's not about the haircut anymore, and that for me is my goal, is like, build the relationship, so they're not coming for the haircut anymore. I give them more value in that 1 hour that they're sitting in my chair. It's time for us to be friends. It's time for us to be brothers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the next vision that you see for you, MJ?
Just education still. So trying to get out and do a little bit more education under my own brand, and just this more of talking about the philosophies of barbering.
Absolutely.
Right. Who knows? Like the schools is where it all started. Maybe down the road, the school is where it ends. And open up in one where I can get barbers ready to step out and be shop owner ready. Right. Understanding the business side of the barbering world.
Absolutely.
And just keep spreading the message, man. It's really, be loving, be caring, being, grooming men to be better men, not just on social media, but behind the chair, in real life, in your communities, at the coffee shops, saying hello. Because at the end of the day, that's what I think this opportunity of barbering is.
Yeah.
Just to make connections, and so that's the goal. Just kind of keep growing organically, slowly. I went from 1 chair to 3, but that was just when I felt the big man upstairs said it was time. It wasn't because if I could have kept going to 1 chair, I would have. But I felt bad that I was losing clients. Yeah. I mean, I was always busy, but you build a relationship only to see that person leave because they couldn't get in anymore, right? So, trying to teach my new guys with me now that this is, if you approach it this way, you should always be busy. There's no reason why you shouldn't.
Yeah,
Keep owning that 80% of your personality in that chair. Just learn from there, man, and just doing cool stuff like this with you. People that we're journeying with together. We pretty much started around the same time.
Yep, side by side. That's
side by side, and seeing you doing just as amazing things, man. It's humbling to be a part of that journey from the get go, from Jump Street to where we are now.
Right? So, no, that's awesome. So cool. How can people follow you? I know you're up on the social media site, so where can they find you?
Everything just funnels through my website, so mjsolofa.com, and then, the handle's along on Instagram, but it's MJ Solofa Men's Grooming. Or just Google Mark Jason Solofa and something will pop up. Which is crazy that in this day and age, with the world of social media, you keep posting, and all of a sudden you're out there.
You are out there, yeah.
But that's, if my 80% is being genuine and of character integrity, like what I post is nothing that I would be ashamed to post in front of my mom,
absolutely,
my daughter, my pastor, my priest. So something also to be conscious of for the younger generation, and what you post, it's out there. So if you're brand building, if you're image building, like make sure that what goes out there when people look you up is something you can be proud of, because the consumer today knows a lot more about us than we know about them.
Yeah,
so be genuine to who you are on social media, because when they come in, they're like, oh, this dude is a fraud, man. This dude is so negative.
Awesome.
All that positive stuff on social media. So
totally. Yeah. For sure. No, I appreciate you coming in.
You got me looking nice and clean.
Yeah, right now we got you nice and clean and just kind of shaped up that beard.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot better than what I could do, for sure. It's nice to be in the chair for once and not standing behind.
Yeah, be able to take, that there's that saying, the cobbler's kids don't have any shoes, because it's always like, he's always making shoes for other people that his own kids don't have shoes.
Just to speak on that, I had a client that came in last week, or the week before, and he was doing his beard shape up,
Yeah.
And he looks at me, what's going on with your beard, though? Like, don't worry about my beard, man. I'm too busy doing everybody else's.
Welcome to the everyday me. Like, this is not like barber status hair that you're seeing on Instagram. So.
All right, thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely,
I wish you continued growth and blessings in everything that you're doing. And anything that you need of me to help in that growth process, you know that I'm here for you, man.
Absolutely,
right?
appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, aloha. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed your time inside the parlor. You can subscribe and hit the like button on YouTube, or you can go ahead and leave a generous amount of stars and a review if you're listening to the podcast. We can connect on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Inside the Parlor. More content and appointment for hair services can be found at InsideTheParlor.com. Thank you so much for tuning in.